You're listening to the Holistic Spaces podcast brought to you by Mindful Design Feng Shui School. Episode 222, Feng Shui for Anxiety. Welcome to episode 222 of the Holistic Spaces podcast, where we hope to inspire, educate, and empower you to create your own holistic spaces that nurture and resonate with you. Anjie Cho and Laura Morris are the founders of the Mindful Design Feng Shui School. We teach Feng Shui online at mindfuldesignschool.com. You can join our mailing list. Go to mindfuldesignschool.com/join or scroll down to the show notes. And we have lots of special offers and content and workshops only for our newsletter subscribers. So we hope to see you in your inbox. Be sure to sign up. So thank you again for joining us for another episode of the Holistic Spaces podcast. So Laura and I thought we could talk about a topic that I think a lot of people are resonating with right now. And that topic is anxiety. And I don't know about you, Laura, but I have a lot of anxiety. You're like, I know you have a lot.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me. I know that, and I recognize that. I think you have a different type of anxiety than I do. I think I have anxiety as well, but mine is that I don't know what they call it. There's like a word for it, and I'm sure people will know. It's like that underlying nebulous anxiety that's like kind of like you're not sure why you're worried, but you're worried about something. It's like I get that a lot. And then when you sit down and unpack everything, you're like, wait a minute, I don't understand what I'm worried about. Right. So I think that I do get it. It's been better lately though for me.
Good. Well, I think also right now there's kind of an epidemic of generalized anxiety disorder.
That's what it is.
Yeah, which I have that too, but it manifests differently for me. But it's for me, sometimes I get so much anxiety that when there's a moment of quietness, I'm like looking for something to get anxious about.
Really?
Yes.
Or to do something?
Oh, she's making fun of me. Okay. I'll like
not making fun of you, but I'm like, I'm well aware of that. Yes.
Yeah, because I'm always like, what is other she gonna what what have I missed? What have I messed up on? But I think it has a lot to do with perfection and also metal element, which is connected to one of the feng shui aspects that we're gonna talk about. But I think it is something that is kind of universal, and it's been more heightened in the pandemic, and a lot of us are suffering from some level of heightened anxiety. So we thought it would be a good topic to talk about. So we put together 5 ways to work with your anxiety and start to support it and soothe it using the principles of feng shui. So the first one is a principle we talk about all the time. It's called the commanding position. And we have lots of episodes on it, but I'm just going to give a quickie, is that the commanding position is usually applied to 3 areas of your home. These are the most important areas, which is your bed, your desk, and your stove. So ideally, especially for anxiety, you at least want to do this for your bed. You want to be set up when you're laying in bed that you can see the door without directly being in line with the door. So you want to generally be diagonal or kitty corner from the door. And you don't want to be lying in bed and right in front of the door. So your feet are pointing straight out the door. So really you want to kind of be diagonal, and you want to have a solid wall behind you to support you. And you want to be able to see whoever is coming into the room. So if you want to learn more about the commanding position, we encourage you to check out one of our past episodes. But when we are not in command, especially like when we're sleeping, because we spend a tremendous amount of time, like a third of our lives in bed sleeping, you actually are creating an elevated level of anxiety in your life. Your fight or flight response is activated because your old mind is worried about security and safety. And when you can't see the door and you can't see what's coming to you, it is in fear mode. So one way to support yourself is to put yourself in command. Like a couple of weeks ago, of course, I was on vacation and I started to get anxiety because things were slowing down. I had some space and I realized I wasn't in the commanding position when I was feeling anxiety. So I quickly changed myself to commanding position to do just anything I could and to support my well-being so that at least on that subconscious level, my old mind could relax a little bit and know that I could see what was coming towards me.
Yes. So it'll be in the show note. You can listen to the podcast about how to correct it and everything in case you're not in the command position. We have an entire podcast about that. So the next one is using using the earth element, because the earth element is about getting grounded, stable, secure, nurtured. So, using the earth element to not only make you feel settled, but also it feeds metal.
I
Um,
think, and I think that metal element tells us sometimes that we want to be perfect and everything has to be just right and we want to be in control and there's a lot of rigidity. So by actually feeding the metal element, it helps to make the metal element come back into balance.
yes. Yeah. Because that earth element is supporting, it's giving more to the metal so it's not constantly feeling like it's depleted and it's spinning. So how can you do this? There's lots of ways you can work with the earth element. We have a podcast about it as well, but I think the objective of this podcast is to give you really quick things because again, we don't want to add to your anxiety by giving you a whole bunch of stuff to do. So here's what I'm going to tell you to do. You're going to go out and get something yellow, or if you have something yellow, because the color yellow is connected with the earth element. It could be a bouquet of yellow flowers. It could be a yellow scarf. It could be something that it could be a little yellow rubber ducky. I don't know. Something that you can see on a regular basis. So, maybe you put the yellow flowers somewhere next to your bedside table so that when you wake up, maybe your anxiety is worse when you wake up first thing in the morning, right? You're like, oh my gosh, so make that the first thing you see. Okay, whatever it is, yellow, or wear it around. And so that will be the first, simple thing to do.
Also, I have a good nuance on that too. You could also
Yeah.
work with like maybe like a yellow or yellow or orange stone or crystal
Mm-hmm.
like citrine or carnelian, like but more on the less on the reddish side, but more on the earthy tones,
Mm-hmm.
or a fancy jasper, like you can
Mm-hmm.
wear
Jasper's
it
good. Mm-hmm.
or hold like a piece in your pocket to kind of like even a worry stone
Mm-hmm.
to have something that you can hold. So that's a great way to work with earth element, the
Mm-hmm.
color yellow or like a earthy orange. And another way to work with the earth element to again provide the support while you need the anxiety for self-care. And also the thing about the earth element is it's about a little bit about letting your mother support you, right? The mother
Mm-hmm.
earth support you and think about how comforting. I mean, maybe not everyone has this story, but like the idea is like your mother really does support you, right? Or like that maternal archetype. So another way to activate that earth element is to adjust the centers of your home. So on the Feng Shui Bagua map, the center is related to earth element and it's also related to your overall health and well-being. So you can adjust the centers with that color yellow that Laura talked about, right? Like with any of that yellow or with a yellow stone or even like a square yellow rug or something.
Yeah. You can get creative. And then another, on sort of in the theme of the earth element and grounding yourself, we're giving you a variation of a method that we do in Black Sect Feng Shui. And we're just going to encourage you to simply sit somewhere. Maybe again, what is the time of day that you feel most anxious, or when you are feeling that anxiety, is to take a long inhale and really visualize it coming in your body. Just, you can even visualize that put your feet on the ground and visualize that when you're inhaling, you're inhaling or bringing in all that chi, that earth chi, that strong, nurturing, solid energy. And have inhale nice and long, and then exhale nice and long, and let that, anything that's worrying you or any of that anxiety, go. Okay, let it out. And do that 9 times. And 9 times, we like 9s, right? So do that 9 times. And don't make, this, often Angie and I talk a lot about ceremony and ritual, and just do this. Don't worry. Just sit and do this. Don't overthink it.
And then the last suggestion we have to support your anxiety with Feng Shui techniques is also still related to the earth element. And this is inspired by the Tao Te Ching. So the Tao Te Ching is an ancient book that is one of the foundational texts of Taoism. And I'm going to read from the Stephen Mitchell translation of the Tao Te Ching. And this is verse 15, part of verse 15. And Lao Tzu writes, "Do you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself?" So I think that is a wonderful visual, but you can actually do this. You can start to see if you have the patience to wait till your mud settles and the water is clear. So actually do this. You can get a beautiful decanter or bottle or glass or jar. Find some mud or some soil from the earth around you. So bring in some earth element, either from a special place that's meaningful to you, that maybe you could even find a place that you've always felt like secure and safe there. But if that's a big chore, just go outside of your home and any soil from the earth will do. And then offer some fresh water, the highest quality water you can, and then put it in this decanter or jar or bottle and shake it, and shake into it like maybe the anxiety that you're feeling. And then just place it down and then watch it and see that you do have the patience within you to wait till your mud settles, and that earth can settle and become not a chaotic, muddy mess, but really this clarity will arise. So how can you cultivate that patience and watch the mud settle so that the water is clear, that you can see the clarity in your life?
Yeah, and I like that one. And also, it's about patience, but it's also recognizing that when things are chaotic and anxious and you're feeling overwhelmed, that this too shall pass,
Mm.
right? That everything is, um, things are temporary, and that if you just, get perspective, sit, watch the mud settle, things will feel better after.
I can already see Laura like texting me back with a little like shorthand of go watch
Uh,
that mud settle and come back to me.
Grab your mason jar of mud and go shake it up.
Yeah. So, so we also wanted to let you know, like, Laura and I aren't, we don't know much more than you. We've had a little bit more experience, and we feel anxiety too, and we're all in this together. So we hope that this episode can support you if you are feeling anxious, and that Feng Shui can be something that you love that can help support you in your own unique way.
Well said.
So
Mhm.
thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Holistic Spaces podcast. You can tune in every week for a new episode. If you like our podcast and this episode, please share it with others. subscribe. It would be super duper if you can leave a review. All those little things matter and support us, and we really need your help and support. You can also support the podcast by checking out our certification and our mini courses and different offerings that we have for sale at mindfuldesignschool.com. And also, it's actually really cool and supportive if you sign up for our mailing list. So you can go to mindfuldesignschool.com/join and sign up there. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.